Hey everyone, Emma here, also known as 8vinyllow, bringing all of you another video. I'm really excited about today's video. This is going to be all things power pop. This is going to be a showcase of some really great power pop records that I've picked up and accumulated over the last handful of months. And I figured instead of putting some pickups here and there in different haul videos and whatnot, that I would just create one massive power pop haul. So this haul includes a mix of classic titles as well as some lesser known gems and just a few records that I've really been after for a while in that power pop world. So I'm really excited to kind of get into this. If you're fans of the genre, I think that you will get a kick out of some of these pickups. And if you are just a music fan in general, wanting to get into some new bands and music, I think you will find this informative as well. So let's jump right into it. We're going to start with a classic in the power pop world, and that is Blue Ash, No More No Less. This came out in 1973, the debut album by a band named Blue Ash. This album has sort of picked up cult status in the power pop world, blending British invasion inspired hooks with that like raw Midwestern energy. You can't deny that Midwestern energy. Midwest bands are my absolute favorite. They're from the Midwest. They formed in Youngstown, Ohio in the late 1960s, and they very much channeled influences. You hear the Beatles, the Who, the Byrds, all of those 60s bands that a lot of bands in the early 70s really tried to, well, they got influence from. So they had a sound that was both melodic and punchy, which perfectly aligns them with that emerging power pop scene of the early 1970s. Think your Badfingers and your Big Stars and your Raspberries. This band fits right into that. So they never really achieved mainstream success, but this album really does have a devoted following thanks to, they have great songwritings, they have those jangly guitars, crisp harmonies, infectious energy that you want from a power pop record. The hit track off of this is a track that some of you may have heard called Abracadabra, Have You Seen Her? Really great song, and the hit song from this band Blue Ash. There's another great song off of here called I Remember a Time. This whole album kicks butt. It really does showcase their knack of combining that pop sound with that rock drive. That Midwestern energy of the 1970s is the best way that I can describe that, with that British invasion style influence. Again, you can hear those elements of Badfinger, Big Star, and so on. So what's really cool about this copy is that it comes on this sort of blue marble vinyl. This is a reissue, and then real quickly I will show the back here. No inserts with this reissue, but it's still available, so if you want to pick this up, if you want to try and find an original copy, feel free to go ahead, but there are reissues. I'm going to link those down below if you are interested in picking this up. But Blue Ash, No More No Less, a staple in any power pop collection. This next album was a blind pickup. I was in my local record store and I saw this. Push-Ups is Pop from a band called The Push-Ups. I had not heard of this band before, but immediately this caught my eye. One, obviously the pop popped on here, especially the hype sticker, which I'll read here in a second. It'll explain this album a little bit. But this just, this screams power pop to me, which it in fact is. So I have a good eye for this stuff. But Push-Ups is Pop. This is a compilation that came out a couple of years ago. Push-Ups is Pop, 1979 to 1980, featuring ex-members of Zolar X, these alien pop creatures. It's mean to call them. Anyway, crawled into the light for only a quick flash, releasing 2 7-inch singles before vanishing into obscurity. Conjuring impossibly tight power pop hits that melt the Cars, The Quick, and Kidda Band are now available for the first time in any format. So this very much is reminiscent of The Quick, of the Cars, of the Vapors, those late 1970s, early 1980s power pop bands that sort of blend the a post-punk new wave sound in there. It's very much reminiscent of that. So didn't know what I was getting into going into this, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. So if you're just in the mood for some really great obscure power pop / new wave sound, again, if you're fans of the Quick or the Cars, I think you'd really dig this. It comes on this bubblegum pink vinyl, which I thought was really neat. And it does include, and here's the back cover. Come on, it screams power pop. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, but it does come with some liner notes, an insert with some liner notes and photographs of the band that I found extremely informative. So really unique little compilation. There's some really catchy songs on here. One that stood out to me right away, and I would say my favorite track from this band from what I've heard, is off side 2. There's a song called Love That Girl. What a great song. There's also songs called Can't Help Myself, Play On. So really fun stuff. Highly recommend checking these guys out. If anything, maybe sampling some of their stuff and learning something new about a really obscure band from the late 70s. All right, now this next one is an absolute classic from a band that most of you, if not all of you, know, and that is the Raspberries. This is their album Side 3. I love that name. This was released in 1973. It is their third album, which is very fitting considering the threes in 1973, Side 3. Anyway, I would say this is their most powerful, energetic release, or at least one of. It's definitely a high point in early power pop, right? Early 1970s, again, your Badfinger, Big Stars, Blue Ashes, Raspberries, all of those coming in, taking those melodic hooks with the punchy sounds, so good. Led by the ultra-talented Eric Carmen, they've already, at this point, made a name for themselves by blending sort of that Beatle-esque melodies with the punch of The Who, taking that all together and putting it into this emerging genre of the time, which is power pop. Side 3 is awesome. You crank it up. It's so good. Big song off of this album is the song Tonight, classic in the Raspberry discography. Tonight's so good. Ecstasy's great. Those are like your full throttle rockers on here. And then you have songs like On the Beach and things like that. This album really keeps that signature sound of the Raspberries. It's not overly polished, so it has that punch, it has that drive that you want. I love the Raspberries, and this album kicks total ass. In my opinion, this is the Raspberries at their most confident and explosive. Really great stuff. But also, it's just a really cool album cover. I love the die-cut cover of this. Of course, you have the Raspberries on there, little raspberry in a basket. Then you open this up this way, and it turns into a record. I mean, how clever is that? Then the record fits in here. There is an insert. I have the original insert that came with this. So I was really happy to find this. At least copies that I come across, they're kind of beat or whatever. I mean, this one is a little worn on the cover, but the record sounds incredible. And I got a really decent price on this. So the Raspberries, again, Tonight is on here, On the Beach, Hard to Get Over, A Heartbreak, I'm a Rocker off of side 2, which is so good, Money Down, Raspberries, Eric Carmen, just essential. All right, let's move a little bit more obscure. I'm going to bet that 95% of you, if not more, have not heard of this band before. Now, if you are deep into the genre, you may have heard of this band, but this is a completely new band and album to me. Just found out about the album and the band a couple of months ago, and I just fell in love with it. Really great stuff. The band that I'm talking about, this is the self-titled only album released by the band Hollands Ferry. Came out in 1977. They are a Baltimore-based band and are definitely lesser known. Like I said, I just found out about this band a couple of months ago, but in my opinion, this is hands down a deeply rewarding hidden gem in the power pop landscape. So obviously the band did not break into the mainstream, but this release definitely captures that spirit of power pop. You have sharp harmonies, you have chiming guitars, you have melodies that just absolutely stick with you. There are a couple songs, which I'll touch on here in a second, that I replay in my head over and over and over again. They randomly pop in, you sing along. That is a good sign of a great song and a great power pop song. Notable musicians include Rob Fahey, who would actually later find success with the 80s band The Ravens. So if you've ever seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High and have listened to that soundtrack, which if you haven't, why haven't you? The magnetism of Robin Zander and the charisma of Rick Nielsen. Anyway.
The Dream Police. Da, 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 da.
The Ravens, Raised on the Radio, that's Rob from this band. He later goes on to do that. So you hear the influences of Big Star, Badfinger, and so on. It has that classic rock, slightly raw, garage-like edge that really does give this album some character with that kind of pop to it. A couple of standout tracks on this album to me. There's a song off of here which is on my playlist now on my phone that I listen to all the time, and that is the song Take My Love. It's the opening track off of this album. I am obsessed with that song. It's so good. But Sparkles is good, Love From Above is good, The Journey is good. This is just some really, really great obscure power pop, something different, something new. And if you have not heard of these guys, which I took a bet that you haven't, let me know down below if you have. I'd be curious. But yeah, let me know if you've heard of this. If not, check these guys out. Hollands Ferry, really, really great stuff. I love this next album. And that is Ghosts of Princes in Towers by the band Rich Kids. First off, what a name. I love that. But Ghosts of Princes in Towers, this was released in 1978 and is the only album by the band Rich Kids, which was a short-lived but influential UK band formed by former Sex Pistols bassist Glenn Matlock. So there's a little musical fun fact for all of you there. This album is so, so good. It has sort of that tuneful edge to the post-punk scene of the time, right? 1978. It's sharp. It blends that sort of punk urgency that was really, really starting to emerge, but with that melodic feel of glam and power pop. It just has a really great sound. I love this album. It is absolutely packed with smart, punchy songs. The title track is excellent off of here. There's another song, my favorite track off of this album, personal favorite, is a song called Hung on You, which just has ringing guitars and that sense of like a restless energy that you want in an album like this. Over time, well, when this first came out, I should say, it was very much misunderstood. And it was definitely criticized and has been criticized over the years, rightfully so. I agree with it. Mostly due to its production. Now, it was produced by Mick Ronson, and you would think, oh, it should sound great, but it just didn't have great production. Critics have called the sounds murky and cloudy, and if you do listen to the original release of this, that is pretty much accurate. I think that this band really could have been something. The production kind of knocked them down, and then because this album didn't really do well, they sort of disappeared to oblivion, which is really kind of a bummer. The copy that I got, now this is not the original, the copy that I got, this came out for Record Store Day. It's a Record Store Day exclusive from a couple of years ago. It's the 45th anniversary edition, newly remastered under the band's supervision. So this version, the Record Store Day version, if you're interested, if you want to pick this up, highly recommend grabbing this one. The remaster sounds really, really good, and well, compared to the original release. And then I'm trying to see, it does come with the insert here. You have the inner sleeve with some lyrics on it, some photographs of the band, and so on. Next album, this is a nod to all my Canadians out there. Great band, great album. I'm talking about The Kings Are Here by the band The Kings. This was released in 1980 by Canadian band The Kings and is a favorite among the power pop sphere. It blends that classic rock swagger with that sleek new wave polish as we enter into the new decade, into the 1980s. This album is best known for the catchy hit This Beat Goes On and Switching the Glide, which is actually really, really great songs. Two songs often played together, and just it's so good. Produced by Bob Ezrin, who had worked with Alice Cooper and who just got done working with Pink Floyd on The Wall. So there's actually a really interesting story about how this album came to be and how Bob Ezrin sort of got brought onto this project. I'm not going to go in depth in this video, but if you are interested, I highly recommend going to look that up because it is just kind of that fun music story. or I'm just a huge music nerd and like that stuff, so I'll take it. I like it. Really great musicianship on here, smart songwriting, confident style. They're very, very good. That makes this album, in my opinion, much more than a one-hit wonder. Again, switching to Glide, Beat Goes On. That's kind of what this band's known for. It comes off of this album, but in my opinion, there's so many other great tracks off of here, including my personal favorite, King Song in general, but off of this album. Another song that is on my playlist on my phone that I just cannot get enough of. And that is not the Beat Goes On, Switch and Glide, although great stuff. There's a song on here that has become, it has to be in my top like 500 favorite songs now. And I say 500 loosely because, but there's so many songs out there. But I can't get enough of this song. This obsession started maybe, I would say 3 or 4 months ago. Don't Let Me Know on here. The song Don't Let Me Know. Oh my goodness. If you guys want to jam out right now, stop this video. I give you full permission. Go jam out to Don't Let Me Know by the Kings. So good. But the Kings are here. Really, really great album. Like I said, a classic in the power pop world. A lot of power pop fans often talk about this record. And just great rock and roll as well. Good stuff. Bob Ezrin makes it sound great. The Kings are here. Check this out. The next two are from one of my favorite bands, and that is the DBs. I'm sporting the shirt. Let's get into the first pickup. So I recently picked up the DBs Like This. This is their third album by American power pop band The DBs that was released in 1984 on Bearsville Records. This was a unique time for the band. They had put out Stands for Decibels, which is my personal favorite, DBs, and Repercussion, both really, really great records. But then, as they were putting this out, or right before they put this out, Chris Stamey notably left the band. And so this definitely sort of serves as a transitional time for them. This album features a remix version of the song Amplifier, if you've ever heard of that song Amplifier from the DBs, which was previously released on their album Repercussion. They also put it out on this record as well. Now, I've always loved this album cover. This has always stood out to me, and an interesting fact about this album cover is that it is made up of still images that were taken from the music video from the 1982 single Neverland. It was a video that actually wasn't officially released till like the mid-2000s, like 2008 or so. But since Chris Stamey had left the band, he was digitally removed from the photos, but that's where they came from. So critically, this album was very well received. Commercially, though, just wasn't all that successful. So, but again, it's a very smart, well-crafted album. The band really does a nice job. Gene Will, and of course Peter Holsapple does a nice job with this record as they transition into this new era of the band of uncertainty. So really, really great album. Some hit songs off of here that some of you may have heard. Love is for Lovers is the opening track, and that I would say is my favorite song off of here. But you also have Lonely Is, As Lonely Does, of course, that remix version of Amplifier, A Spy in the House, on the Battlefront. Yeah, this album's really, really, really good. As I'm going through it, I'm like, this is really great stuff. So definitely check this album out. I know that Stands for Decibels and Repercussion have sort of gone through this reissue, first time US release campaign over the last year or so, which has been really cool. I actually was able to see the DBs in concert last fall, I think, or was it summer? I'm confused now, but I saw them last year at some point on their Stands for Decibels anniversary tour. So really great band. I've fallen in love with these guys over the last couple of years, and this album's really, really solid. So Like This by the DBs, check it out. Let's do another one by the DBs. This is the DBs' Sound of Music. So between 1984 and 1987, the DBs went through interesting times, right? Like I said previously, Chris Stamey's going to leave the band just before they started to work on Like This. So they really had to try and reinvent themselves as a trio with Peter Holsapple taking basically full lead. Right after releasing this album, and I didn't mention this previously, but Bearsville Records, right after releasing this, shut down, which I think you can kind of correlate that to why this album's chances in commercial success really didn't happen. Left the band stuck in legal limbo and so on. So just really unfortunate timing for such a great album by this band. So how are we really going to reinvent ourselves now? Our label goes under, so 1987 rolls around. Sound of Music is going to become a very critical sort of make or break moment for this band. This is their first chance to release an album through a very fully operational American label, which you can see IRS here, and they really did go for it. So this album definitely is some of their most polished and like straightforward work. You have producer Greg Edward that really does a slick job with the overall production, and this album sounds really good. And I always thought this album cover was fascinating. Also, it doesn't get more 80s than that. Look at these guys. Look at anyway, it doesn't have that like quirky experimental style that Stands for Decibels and Repercussion did. Again, this feels a little bit different, but Peter Holsapple is a god at crafting really catchy pop songs. Him and Craig Stamey, that's why they were so great together. But even in this period, Holsapple does a great job. Standout tracks on here include the songs I Lie, Molly Says, Working for Somebody Else, Looked at the Sun Too Long. Really great record. Sound of Music by the DBs. I don't think that there's a bad DBs record, but again, it's interesting to kind of know the history if you're interested in listening and checking these albums out, because it is a little bit different. Each album really is slightly different from the next. So the DBs, Sound of Music, check it out. Final pickup, I've only mentioned this band 150 times in this video. We're going to be talking some Badfinger. This is their release, Head First. This reissue was sold out for a while, and it was going for like crazy money, but it seems like they're back out, at least for now. This is the 50th anniversary special edition that includes a 12-page LP booklet of this album. So quick little backstory of this record. It was originally recorded in 1974 and was meant to be Badfinger's final album for the Warner Bros. Label, but it was shelved due to the legal battles of the time and, of course, the tragic death of band member Pete Ham. So over the years, this has been long considered a lost album. Head First saw an official release in the early 2000s, but it was limited quality and so on. There were just some issues with it, and it never really got a proper release. So 2025, 50th anniversary edition. This definitely restores the album. It has remastered audio from the original tapes, which offers us fans the first sort of proper hi-fi release of this album. This is definitely a long overdue tribute of Badfinger's talent as well as resilience in the face of heartbreak and all of the things that they sort of went through. So I'm really glad to have picked this album up. Sounds incredible, really amazing stuff on here. Happy that it's back in stock. If you're interested, at least, I didn't check before filming, but a few weeks ago, my local record store had this on the shelf, so hopefully it's still available out there and you are able to pick this up. But Badfinger, Head First, definitely grab this. 50th anniversary, real quickly. Does come with this 12-page booklet. Has some like photographs and stuff in there. Liner notes, information, and so on. Great photographs. So definitely check this out. Worth a pickup. And that's going to wrap up this video. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about some of these pickups, if you're familiar with these bands or artists, if there's anything new to you, if you're going to check something out. If you just want to talk music, always down for that. Send a message down in the comments below. Would love to hear from you guys. With that, everybody, that is it for this video. I hope that all of you are doing well, and I will see you guys for my next video. Bye, guys.